All right, well, good morning, everyone. I am State Representative Andy Schor. I represent Lansing and Lansing Township, so welcome to a beautiful sunny day here in the middle of October in Lansing. I'm here with my Democratic colleagues behind me to support these folks as they announce a bold new plan to address our state's literacy crisis. I want to thank, well, she's not here, but I want to thank Elizabeth Weston here at EC3. We're here at EC3 because they represent so many of the positives of early education programs in our state. The quality programs like this one show the value of investing in early education. I know that firsthand as both my children went here to EC3, and I think we need more of this. Studies have consistently shown that expanding access to early childhood education has significant payoffs down the line, and it's time we recognize the opportunity we have to make quality programs like this one available to more states, more families here in our state. I share my colleagues' concerns about the literacy crisis here in our state, and this bold education plan is so important in addressing that problem by setting our students up for success and giving our hardworking teachers the support they need to improve outcomes for students. And now I'm going to introduce Representative Darrin Cammalleri, who's going to talk more about the plan. Representative Cammalleri.
Thank you, Representative Schor, and thank you again to EC3 and Elizabeth Weston for hosting us today. My name is Darrin Cammalleri. I represent House District 23 in the downriver communities of Woodhaven, Brownstown, Trenton, Gibraltar, Groseal, and Huron Township. Michigan is suffering a literacy crisis. We've all heard the stats, but they bear repeating. While almost every other state's reading proficiency has improved over the last decade, proficiency in Michigan has done the opposite. Michigan is one of only 5 states whose early reading scores went down on average between 2003 and 2015. Our 4th grade reading scores are in the bottom 10 nationally based on 2016 NAEPS data. And the most recent MSTEP testing results, which were released during the course of our work, show that over half of our 3rd graders are not reading at grade level. This is truly a statewide problem, and it's unacceptable. That's why my colleagues and I came together following our Marches Reading Month tours of our districts to address what we know to be a long-standing crisis in Michigan schools. All too often, the conversations in Lansing about education, especially this term, fail to take seriously the depth of this crisis. Instead, they're merely distractions that make far more progress towards political ends than towards improving student outcomes. And some of that you could see from our conversation in education policy today as well. The aim of this work group has been to craft a response whose intent and scale matches the magnitude of this crisis facing our schools. That's why we have introduced this BOLD approach to education, with BOLD standing for Better Outcomes in Literacy and Development. The goals of this package are to expand access to quality childcare and early education programs and support early and effective reading interventions. We believe that these strategies have the power to be game-changing. By reaching kids early, we are making the smartest investment we can and are making the greatest impact on our kids. My bill in this package expands the eligibility for the Great Start Readiness Program to include families with incomes up to 350% of the poverty level line. The price of childcare in Michigan is close to that of in-state tuition at a 4-year college. This expansion would ensure that we aren't pricing students out of quality education before they enter the 1st grade. When it comes to these programs, it's a crisis of access as much as a crisis of quality. And now, Representative Zemke will talk about his bill in this package.
Thank you, Representative Cammalleri. And I'm Adam Zemke, and I had the privilege of serving as the Democratic Vice Chair on the House Education Reform Committee. And I want to start out by particularly thanking Representative Cammalleri. Representative Cammalleri is a teacher and has come into the House with a focus on literacy that is unprecedented up to this point. This is his first term, and one of the first acts that he took was to introduce a resolution to require a high-quality education, and the second act was to create this literacy work group that we're proud to present bills that are coming out of today. So Representative Cammalleri is 100% correct about the nature of this crisis. It is extreme, and the fact that child care and preschool is so unaffordable in the state of Michigan is a contributor to that crisis. This problem is particularly troubling for the families of 3-year-olds who, without the current support of programs like GSRP, can often not afford to send their kids to high-quality preschool programs. My bill in this package would extend GSRP to 3-year-olds, ensuring that we are providing high-quality preschool experiences as we are doing now with 4-year-olds. And I have the privilege of saying, I think Representative Brinks and Representative Schor and I were the only members of this group who were in the legislature at the time of the expansion of GSRP to 4-year-olds. And we are seeing really, really positive substantive effects from those expansions. What we want to do with the expansion to 3-year-olds is extend that opportunity. Early childhood advocates and folks in the field statistically all agree that this expansion to 3-year-olds is absolutely necessary to close our gaps and provide education to students so that they're adequately prepared for kindergarten. The Great Start Readiness Program has been proven to be a smart investment over the last several years. It's shown to reduce the achievement gap in early literacy between higher and lower risk students. And in addition, 42% of GSRP's cost is offset by decreases in academic retentions. So this is a program that is proven to pay for itself. What we want to do is expand more of that. And given these impacts for the 4-year-olds, it's clear that expanding GSRP would have this powerful effect as it's had for 3-year-olds as it's had for 4-year-olds. So there are many other pieces of legislation that are important to this package because literacy is not strictly related to early childhood. And I'm going to introduce Representative Stephanie Cheng from Detroit to talk a little bit more about the legislation she's introducing. Stephanie?
Thank you so much, Representative Zemke. My name is Stephanie Cheng, and I'm the state representative from House District 6, which comprises the city of Ecorse, River Rouge, and part of the city of Detroit. And my bill is also related to the Great Start to Quality program, which, as mentioned, is an evaluation system that looks at preschool and early childhood programs. I know firsthand that children learn a lot during their first 5 years, and parents really want to know that they're sending their child to a good program. Early childhood and preschool programs are reimbursed a certain amount by the state, but currently there's no incentive for programs to actually participate in evaluation according to GSRP's rubric, because the reimbursement rate is actually the same for not being evaluated and those meeting a few very basic requirements. So my bill is very simple. It would increase the reimbursement rate for those programs that choose to be evaluated in the Great Start to Quality program, so that we get more programs on track to being high quality. This is really good public policy because we need to be rewarding programs that are actively working to improve in their services of children and families, so that we can get kids on the right track in terms of their literacy and making sure that kids know how to read. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Rep. Cara Clemente to talk to us about her bill.
Thank you, Representative Chang. I'm Cara Clemente. I represent House District 14, which is in the Downriver area that covers cities of Lincoln Park, Melvindale, Riverview, and Wyandotte. Being a teacher, an interventionist, and a reading specialist, this package was very important to me. My bill will jumpstart reading help for our kindergarten students. Currently, kindergarten students are evaluated in a variety of ways, primarily through their teacher, her observation and her expertise or his expertise. If a teacher notices a student is struggling during the assessment period, then it only makes sense that we should put that student into an individual reading plan or other type of assessments that can really get the reading process going. The quicker we start with these struggling readers, the better chance we have to help these students, and my bill will accelerate the process of getting students the support they need. And now, Representative Bill Sowerby will talk.
Thank you, Representative Clemente. Good morning. My name is Bill Sowerby. I'm the state representative from District 31, which takes in the charter township of Clinton and the cities of Mount Clemens and Fraser. The bill I've introduced will increase funding for the Every Child Ready to Read program. There'll be a $1 million request for this funding, and this will help fund this program going forward. This program is offered through libraries, local libraries, and provides education to families and caregivers for early literacy. It's important that we show families and caregivers all the ways that they can engage with their children's ability to develop their literacy abilities. Talking, reading, singing, writing, and playing are all elements of the Every Child Ready to Read program. By increasing the support for this program through our local libraries, we can reach more families and caregivers to help more young children develop their literacy skills. Next, we'll hear from Representative Wittenberg.
Thank you, Rep. Sowerby. Thank you all for being here today. Good morning. My name is Robert Wittenberg, State Representative from the 27th House District, 7 different communities in southeast Oakland County, bordering on Macomb and Detroit. And back in 2016, $3 million in grant funding was given to support home visit programs at the ISD level to help families and their students. Home visits offer wraparound services that can cover many different needs for a family and their kids, including health issues, behavior issues, and educational needs. Research supports home visits as being a high-impact intervention for our most vulnerable students. It's not a surprise that the $3 million was not enough to fund all of the qualifying ISD applications that were submitted. My bill will increase grant funding to these programs so that ISDs that qualify for funding will get it and be able to reach more families. We shouldn't be turning away an ISD that has a good program that can meet the needs of their students. And now I'm going to introduce Representative Brinks to talk about her resolution.
Thank you, Representative Wittenberg. I am Winnie Brinks. I'm the state representative for the 76th District in the city of Grand Rapids. Not all students can make it to their local public library, so we need to promote and support our school libraries as well, so that they have the books and the resources they need to succeed. My resolution will designate October as School Library Month, and it will remind us of the importance of these institutions. Michigan students continue to struggle in reading, with less than half of the state's third graders passing the English language arts portion of the M-STEP. Nurturing a child's literacy skills is an investment that both schools and parents must make in our children. Our school libraries and librarians are on the front lines in the battle against illiteracy, and they can foster a love of reading in our children that starts at a very young age. Unfortunately, many times the personnel as well as the books and materials in libraries in our schools have been cut, have seen in recent years with the cuts from education funding. Supporting their efforts, along with early childhood school and reading readiness programs, will give our children the skills they need to succeed. Now I'm going to hand it back to Representative Cammalleri to wrap us up.
All right, thank you, Representative Brinks. I'm proud to say that we have the support of all the Democratic members of the House Education Committee for this pieces of legislation. I think it says something about the concerns we share about how this issue has been handled previously, and I think it shows our excitement for this new, bold approach.